1997 was a good year for OVAs and reboots, but not so much for original content. As such, it's been rolled into 1998 as well. These 2 years featured follow-up OVAs to Gundam Wing and Evangelion, and darker retakes of Ray Earth and Getter Robo. The following year also featured the follow-up to 1996's Martian successor Nadesco called Prince of Darkness, and Bubblegum Crisis was rebooted into Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, which was much more fleshed out than the original. For the sake of time, these will be discussed after the episode on the year 2000. The final show in the Brave series, King of Braves Gao Gai Gar, started this year. While the series wasn't that far removed from the other Brave series, it did have the distinction of being the only one to make it overseas, where it gained a cult following. It also featured many loving homages and callbacks to other mecha shows, Super and otherwise. They pulled out the stops on this one, and the series only got more popular after the OVA Gao Gai Gar final put the cherry on top for the popular series. Ehrgeist was a 12-episode series that featured the typical rebellious colonies and put a semi-sentient robot in the middle of it. The weapons called metal vehicles were the primary form of warfare in this world, and now some sort of sentient machine AI called SAC has appeared. The colonists, who are the antagonists for the most part, want their hands on it, but they'll have to pry it out of the hands of their plucky protagonists. Led by Jay Stryker, a former MV pilot, they have to keep the SAC out of Next's hands and survive the whole ordeal. Ehrgeist did reach the States, but never made much impact, likely due to its subtitled state. Sakura Wars got its first OVA this year, following along from the successful Sega Saturn game that had come out. The story follows Shingyuji Sakura, who is joining up with the mechanized Imperial Flower Brigade to battle demons and monsters. The setting is an alternative universe, 1927, and the Imperial Flower Brigade, under the guise of a theater troupe, trains up their spiritual powers to drive their specialized armor against demonic forces, with mostly hand-to-hand classically Japanese weapons and not nearly enough missiles and grenades. The game had an ensemble cast, and so too does the anime, with all manner of international characters with their own blend of weapons and abilities. It, along with the many other anime iterations of Sakura Wars, was ported to the States by ADV in the mid-2000s. Virus Buster Surge was Masami Obari's attempt at Bubblegum Crisis. It likewise started out as a Sega Saturn game and follows the organization called Stand. This organization, led by the mysterious Raven, fights against monsters called viruses with mech suits called Gears. Surge, the amnesiac main character, joins Erika and Joichiro and takes the fight back to these virus monsters that are infecting Neo Hong Kong at the end of the 21st century. It's got all the hallmarks of an Obari work, strange designs, and meandering plotting. But it spun off into another video game and a light novel after it finished airing. It saw limited runs on the Sci-Fi Channel in 2000s in the States after Manga Entertainment picked it up. Brain Powered was the brainchild of Yoshiyuki Tomino, taking directorial reins once again for the first time since Victory Gundam. The main thrust of the plot is, on a flooded Earth, scientists aboard the mysterious spacecraft called Orphan are trying to recover parts of the downed organic ship. These antibody organic mechs are countered by a group called the Novus Noah, and when a girl named Hime accidentally revives a special antibody called the Brain Powered, she's suddenly thrust in the middle of the conflict. Yoko Kanno and Mamoru Nagano were both on the production team, and in spite of his storied history, Tomino was reportedly very fancy-free with the details in the series itself. The series was released to the US in the 2000s, though it did not make nearly the splash that was hoped for. Gasaraki released in 1998 and was best described as a mishmash of a lot of different ideas. Well, on the surface, it's very real robot. The plot deals with psychic phenomena and demon armor in a similar fashion to Sakura Wars before it, with more terror and less dating sim. It was extremely high concept, and Ryosuke Takahashi of Lazener and Galliant fame was helming it. The series was another in the wake of Evangelion to focus on storytelling from a very distinctly metaphysical point of view and mixed in Japanese occultism with real-world politicking to create a unique experience, even if its overall quality is debatable. It was brought over to the States as well in the mid-2000s by ADV. Neo Ranga was released, a bizarre series that featured three sisters who control a semi-organic mecha god called Neo Ranga. The story itself is a mix of family drama and social satire, fitting for the fusion era. While it has more in common with Godzilla and his ilk, its piloted nature puts it in the same category as Giant Gorg, and deserves a nod. The series went for 48 episodes, but they were only 15 minutes long, leading to about 24 episodes worth of content. This one made it to the States as well, under the ADV license. Based on a 1994 manga by Kiya Asamiya, Steam Detectives began its 24-episode run. Very clearly influenced by the works of Mitsuteru Yokoyama and Shotaro Ishinomori, the series follows Narutaki, a young genius who works as a detective in Steam City. The city is overrun by criminals, all using giant mecha known as Megamatons, and Narutaki and his partner Ling Ling are the only force capable of stopping them. Most Megamatons are remote controlled, but theirs is special. Goriki seems capable of battle on its own, and that gives them the edge over the criminal enterprise. 3 heads are better than 1 after all. Both the series and the manga would make it stateside as well. Well, it was a little dry bones in those 2 years for original content. The year 1999 would do wonders for the mecha genre, as one of the most notable Gundam series would get its premiere, and the throwback, the Big O, would get a release as well.